Hey guys, it's Yugi here, and today we are here to correct Tom Box's ruling on Denko Sekka versus Red Reboot. He was close. In fact, he described one of the situations. However, the example that he gave was not correct, and therefore we are going to correct this, and we're going to include it in this video. So you guys have mentioned in the comments about how Red Reboot should have interacted, and how the way that I kind of worded the explanation wasn't exactly proper. It was related, but not proper. So I'm going to talk about how it should have been ruled, and I'm going to include 3 examples in this video of different scenarios where Denko Sekka can interact with Red Reboot. Because Denko Sekka, of course, it's a card that doesn't let people set cards or activate set cards, and then Red Reboot is a card that basically sets the card that it negates. How does that work? Well, we're going to explain that in today's video. I'm dedicating a whole segment to it because I read your guys' comments, and if I'm in the wrong, I admit I am wrong. I bet you guys are like, oh, I knew it, I called you out, man. Well, congrats, I guess. Anyways, into the video here. A huge shout out to the Patreons. You guys make it worthwhile to do these videos, and well, I really want to update that Patreon program, so that's in the works. As long as I don't die along the way, it should come out very soon, and also new products are coming out very soon. Aside from that, let's get into this video. To put everyone into the same context, we have Denko Sekka and Red Reboot's card effects. I'm going to read very quickly. So Denko Sekka, a level 4 Thunder monster that a lot of Thunder Dragon players are playing, and previously was already pretty good to deal with back row based decks like Paleo. So this card states, cannot be special summoned. While you control no set spells/traps, neither player can set spells/traps nor activate spells/trap cards that are set on the field. A continuous effect. Red Reboot is a counter trap card. When your opponent activates a trap card, negate the activation, and if you do, set that card face down. Then they can set 1 trap directly from their deck. Okay, so there's 2 conjunctions in there. And for the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, your opponent cannot activate trap cards. You can activate this card from your hand by paying half your life points. Okay, cool. So you get that. Red Reboot resets a card. Denko Sekka, well, overall, just don't let cards be set. Example number 1, this is gonna be the one that I mentioned previously in the past video, and I'm going to correct it in this one. So how does it work? I have a Denko Sekka on my side of the field face up in my control, and my opponent has an infinite impermanence in their hand. I also have a copy of Red Reboot in my hand. So during my opponent's turn, he activates infinite impermanence from his hand because he controls no cards, targeting the Denko Sekka. Can I activate the Red Reboot in my hand? And the answer to that is no. No, I cannot. But why is it that I cannot? Well, there is a precedent ruling to this. The precedent ruling is Imperial Iron Wall versus Bottomless Trap Hole. It's because of the way that the cards are worded, and because the simultaneous resolution that happens with the cards, they are mandatory. They're not optional, and there's no timing where they would actually be missed, because Bottomless Trap Hole states that when your opponent summons a monster with 1500 attack or more, destroy that monster with 1500 attack, and if you do, banish it. So when Imperial Iron Wall is already face up on the field, you cannot activate Bottomless Trap Hole because you cannot fully resolve the effect. And it's quite different when Bottomless Trap Hole has been activated and then you chain. There's a different kind of resolution. Now, another one that you guys are very much familiar with and very much hate is the Draw Lock combo with Trickstars. The Trickstar reincarnation states, banish your opponent's entire hand, and if you do, they draw the same number of cards. Well, because both parts are simultaneous and both parts are mandatory. It doesn't say they can draw the same number of cards, because that would be busted, really. Because that they are mandatory for both sides to resolve, and only if they ever get blocked out, you will only resolve part of it. So if they activated Droll and Lockbird beforehand, and now they can't activate Trickstar Reincarnation. It's very similar. However, if you activate Trickstar Reincarnation first and then you chain the Droll and Lockbird because previously your opponent already added a card and you're still in that timing window, that's how you do the Droll Lock loop. So I guess to summarize this, you can only activate cards with mandatory simultaneous resolution if during the moment of the activation you can fully resolve the entire effect. So because under the situation where Denko Sekka has a continuous effect, and because the continuous effect is preventing cards from being set, I cannot activate that red reboot from my hand. Therefore, in the resolution of this situation, my Denko Sekka will get negated by infinite impermanence, and I will still be stuck with the red reboot in hand. Now I'll give you guys a different situation where I can activate that red reboot, and what transpires is quite fun. So for situation number 2, I now control a set red reboot and I have a Denko Sekka in hand. My opponent has a set mirror force, and I am going to proceed to normal summon out my Denko Sekka. Denko Sekka's effect is not active because, well, the condition is not met. I control a set trap card in the back row. That being said, I proceed to the battle phase and I declare an attack. My opponent, in response to my attack declaration, activates Mirror Force, of all things. And of course he wants to blow it up because maybe there's Paleo. I don't know what's going on, but whatever the case is, he activates his trap card. Am I able to activate Red Reboot in this case? And the answer is yes, I can. While Red Reboot is set right now, the condition is I can still activate it because Denko Sekka's effect is not valid at this point because I have a set card. So at the moment of activation, while the card is still like set on the field, I can activate it and then I can resolve as much as possible. This is very much similar to the Bottomless Trap Hole versus Imperial Iron Wall, in the case that Imperial Iron Wall this time was set during the activation of Bottomless Trap Hole. So if I were to normal summon out, say, an 18 Beat Stick or a Luster Dragon, I summon out the Luster Dragon, my opponent activates Bottomless Trap Hole, I chain Imperial Iron Wall. What would happen then? Well, Bottomless Trap Hole must resolve as much as possible, and since it's going through that destruction, it's going to destroy but not be able to banish, so therefore my monster goes to the graveyard. It doesn't fizzle the entire effect because I have already met the activation condition, and therefore I will resolve as much as I can. And during the activation of Bottomless Trap Hole, it was very much legal. So in this particular case where Denko Sekka and Red Reboot are both on the field and one was set, so when my opponent activates that Mirror Force, what happens then? So we're gonna go through the card text of Red Reboot to follow this. So the activation of the Red Reboot is legal because Denko Sekka is not active. So when I activate the Red Reboot to negate that Mirror Force, during the resolution, what's going to happen is that it's going to negate the activation of Mirror Force, so my monster does not get destroyed. And if you do, set that card face down. However, this is not a statement of and, so this is the part where conjunctions come into play. Because it does not say and, I don't need to follow through with the rest of the effect that is no longer valid. So I do as much as I can. Part A, which is negate the activation, is successful. But part B of it, the set that card face down, that is no longer successful because they can't set anymore. And then there's a then clause, which requires the set card to happen. That is obviously not happening as well. So your opponent, what happens to the Mirror Force? Does it stay on the field? Well, no, it does not. Instead, the Mirror Force is going to be sent to the graveyard, like any activated trap that doesn't really get to resolve. So just sent to the graveyard at the end of the resolution. So yeah, that's how it would be ruled if the Red Reboot was already set. Very specific scenario because so many things are changing, like in between chains in this situation. So there's that. So that would be the situation where Red Reboot was sent a card to the graveyard. Alright guys, so for the final one here, this is a refresher on summoning timing. And of course my opponent is going to control what? A Solemn Warning. So for Solemn Warning, well, I'm going to normal summon out my Denko Sekka. And on the summoning window, my opponent activates Solemn Warning. That is a legal activation, of course, because well, my summon hasn't been successful yet. It negates the summon. Am I able to activate the Red Reboot from my hand? And the answer is, well, yeah, of course you can. Just because they're able to activate their face down card, that just means that Denko Sekka is not technically on the field just yet, and the effect that's continuous for her is not active yet, and so you can activate the Red Reboot from your hand. So what happens then? Do they miss parts of their card? Well, no, they do not miss anything from Red Reboot because you just have to pretend Denko Sekka is not on the field just yet. Not a successful summon, so therefore, guess what? They negate the activation, and then, well, they get to set that card face down, and then they can also set another trap card directly from their deck because Denko is technically not there yet. And of course, they'll be stunned out of trap cards regardless. But hey, that's how that's gonna play out, guys. So once that completely plays out, yeah, just goes to the graveyard. You proceed the turn normally. Denko Sekka will be successfully summoned after this chain. And because after this chain, Denko is now active, nothing can be activated. Then again, if your opponent had even more back row, those will also be stunned out. So that is it. It's just a basic ruling of summoning timing. Of course, things that aren't successfully summoned just yet, when their summon's about to be negated, yeah, they're not exactly on the field. There is a spell speed 2 effect that does that, and that is Logia, which is one of the weirder ones when you try to chain like Max C and all that stuff, but that's a ruling topic for a different day. So let me give you guys a very fun question. What happens if you summon Denko Sekka and they have a bottomless trap hole? That's right, that was a trick question. They can't activate the bottomless trap hole. My summon was already successful, no bottomless trap hole for the other guy. But little did you know, he had impermanence and well, he can't even activate impermanence because he has a set bottomless trap hole. Anyways, that is all I got for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this correction. Oh, Tombox, you were wrong! Yeah, no one's perfect, I guess. Congrats for calling me out. But thank you guys for actually mentioning it down in the comment section below so I get to do this correctional video. Hopefully I don't need to do any more of these. I am very tired of redoing a video on the same subject. So therefore, you guys got a bonus video out this week. Congrats. And happy Halloween, guys. Hopefully you guys have a Yugi-tastic day. And I'm going to end the battle phase now, and I'm going to proceed to the end phase. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please drop us a like so we know we are doing a good job, and you can also subscribe to MST.TV for more fantastic videos by clicking on the button on the left. Don't forget to check out our partners at Imperium Duelist. They make really high quality mats, including some of my own limited edition release stuff. And if you want to check out one of our past videos, click here on the right. As always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV, and I'll see you next time.